Hi, my name is Zaphod Beeblebrox, and I'm the British Tech Guru. Today, I want to talk about solar power on this wonderfully not sunny day. Well, a lot of people like to convert various vehicles into camper vans. It's an excellent idea, and it's a good hobby. There are various problems with that. Number one being, of course, insurance. You might be able to insure the base vehicle, but the conversion, probably not. So, why bother doing it if you can't really insure it? Well, unless you're willing to take the hit if it gets wrecked, and that's quite likely given the standard of driving on the roads in America. But anyway, I want to talk about power on those things. People seem to go nuts on solar power, and it's so uneconomical. Okay, let's look at it. You convert a camper, you build your own camper. Well, you get 2 weeks off a year. You're not going to be using it 2 weeks a year, and maybe weekends as well. That's not a lot of use. So is it worth spending all that money on solar when it's only going to be used for maybe a month a year if you go out every weekend? And a gas generator would be about $600 for a 2 kilowatt generator. That'll run your microwave, and it'll run just about everything you can possibly imagine. If you have any sense, you'd be using gas for heating and gas for cooking. So yeah, it would power your fridge. 25% load. You could probably run a 1800 watt generator for about 12 hours. So that's probably use something like 1.25 gallons of fuel. So you could run a fridge quite well for that. You could run your hairdryer. You could run your electric kettle. You could run your coffee percolator. There's lots of little things you could run on that. And then because there's things you don't need to run all the time. A lot of things you don't need to run all the time. The fridge you don't need to run all the time. Why do we need a fridge? Why can't you just put a cooler and a couple of bags of ice in it? That works. So anyway, I was working it out. And if you're going to go for solar, that works out about $1 a watt. And batteries are about $5 an amp hour. So if you wanted an 1800 watt generator, I looked at the Harbor Freight one, and that's $600. And it would run for 12 hours on 5 litres of fuel. So that's $3 a gallon. So you're talking probably about $9 a day in fuel. Okay. Now let's take that to, say, a month, which would be the most you'd be using it. A month, that's 28 days. Let's say 30 days. So 3 9's 27, $270. And you can run your generator 24/7 for a complete month for $270. That sounds pretty good to me. That's about the price of most electricity bills. So let's work it now on solar. So if you want 1800 watts of power all the time from solar, you're going to need a lot more than 1800 watts of solar panels. You're probably going to need about 3 times that. So say about 6,000 watts of solar panels. Then you're probably going to need you can definitely need probably about double that in batteries. So 1800 watts over 24 hours. That's a lot. I'm not even going to do the calculation. But at $5 a watt, over 24 hours, you need 5,400 watts, something like that. Oh, no, you can need more than that. 1800 watts. Oh, let's multiply 1800 by 20. That's 3600. And then add an extra 6,000 for 12,000. It's a lot. And it's not worth doing. Just costs so much. And I'm talking 15,000 or thereabouts. That's how much I calculated it at. And if you're going to spend 15,000, do yourself a favour. Just book a room at Motel 6. And for the amount you spend on these silly little campers and the camper conversions, you could stay in an awful lot of really nice hotels. They're just not worth the money. And, you know, for the heck of it, I have converted a vehicle to be a motorhome, but I did not convert it to be a holiday motorhome. I converted it as emergency accommodation, if I need emergency accommodation, and I converted it so that I can work out of it when I'm working on site somewhere. But that's me. That is my own particular circumstances. So yes, I do know something about solar, and mine is solar powered, but then I am only powering ventilation, lighting, and electronics charging. I'm not using it to power water heating or cooking. I don't even have a fridge. I don't even have a television. I don't want them. I don't need them. So, as I was saying, be careful with solar. Just don't go in over your head with it. Even in a domestic situation where you're putting solar panels out in your yard, for God's sake, don't put them on the roof. You'll never be able to clean them if they're on the roof, and they do need regular cleaning because the rain is not clean. There's a lot of dirt in the rain. So yes, if you're putting them up for a domestic situation, you're going to have to put them in the yard on a little stand or something. And then what are you going to do? You're going to generate all this power. You're going to need to store it, so you're going to need batteries as well. If you're not using batteries, if you're just selling the electricity to the grid and then using the grid as your battery, you're going to be coming across the same problem that everybody else has when the electricity goes off. You're going to be generating, nobody's going to be able to use it, and you're not going to be able to use it because you have no storage facility. And of course, if you do put storage facility in, you're up against that $5 an amp hour of battery life, of battery capacity. So you're just going to need to probably spend about $10,000 on batteries and about $50,000 on solar panels, and you're still not going to be able to power very much. No. Solar power in the vast majority of situations is a pipe dream, that's all. It is not a practical reality. And sure, yes, there are solar farms, and they do contribute electricity, they do make money. But that is a business that is totally different. They have way more panels than you can possibly afford, and they do make money out of it because they sell the electricity. But you would have to store it, which means you're going to be spending all that money on electricity storage. And then, of course, you look at the batteries. A lithium battery will last you maybe 10 years before it's worthless. So you're talking 5 years of really usable life out of it. A lead acid battery, well, they say they last 5 years. I've never had a deep cycle lead acid battery last more than 18 months. Another false economy. And sure, I used them, but then I only use small amounts of power. And you've seen my solar setup in the backyard. And you will notice I have 30 watts of panels, a 35 amp hour battery there. And that is just to power my experiments. But currently the LED flashing light, that is actually mains powered, because I don't have an inverter, and it's not worth spending the money on an inverter when it's going to use barely any electricity whatsoever from the 120 volt supply. So yeah, solar is, it's good up to a point. It's good for very small applications. For anything bigger, forget it. Just use the conventional things, use a generator, and just forget about solar. And this has been another British Tech Guru production. My name's Zayford Beeble Rocks, and I'll see you again in the next video.